This is a Play Your Way network presentation. Get the full story at PlayLifeYourWay.com. They came, they podcasted, and left you wanting more. So this time, they're back to finish you off. It's time to take a deep dive. The Player Way.
Ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, this is your boy BK. It's on once again, Patron once again. That's right. We are back another week. The Player Way podcast, the deep dive, the Player Way to be exact. You guys did not hear me on the podcast that came out earlier this week. Shouts out to my boys Nate and Derek for holding things down. I almost said BK. But yeah, man, it's been, this sickness has been having me down. Having me kind of verklempt, and I've not been able to really participate and everything, so I'm really excited to be able to do that. And as usual, per usual, with the deep dive, we got an amazing guest coming on to help us understand how to do things. But again, before we get started, I'm your resident DJ BK, showing you how to live life
the Player Way.
Indeed. All right, so you can hear some glorious laughing. You're hearing that laughter come from a longtime friend of mine and a colleague. This man started out at a radio station down in Columbus, Georgia, moved up to Atlanta. We went to college together, and then one day the man said, I'm taking my talents, not to South Beach, but out to Los Angeles, California. He never looked back, and he is an inspiration. The man, you name a movie star, The Rock, Mark Wahlberg, Kate Beckinsale, Mel Gibson, anybody you can name, the man is sat across from him. If you've ever seen like those shows like Extra and stuff like that, it's a similar setup to that when they do the press junkets. He also is a brand ambassador and host for UR Web. He's a longtime friend of mine. I'm really excited to have him on. Ladies and gentlemen, show your love for Mr. Jay Styles.
Yeah.
How you doing, brother, man?
Hey, BK Jack, let me tell you something, man. It's a pleasure, bro, just to be talking with you, man. You know, we may go months without talking, bro. Maybe 3 or 4 months. You know, you may send me a message or I'll send you a message, but we don't actually talk on the phone, a lot. But when we do, man, we start back right when we left off.
When we do it.
The Player
Way.
Way.
The Player
Exactly,
the
man.
Way.
How we got started out is Jay and I, when we went to our alma mater, Columbus State University. Shout out to Columbus State University Cougars. State. But we were getting started in the world, in the entertainment industry and production and everything when there was no YouTube yet. Remember when we were in communications class?
Yeah.
And Dr. Gibson pulled me up in front of the class and she was like, teach us what Facebook is and teach us what YouTube is. And I was like, this is gonna be the future. Like, everybody thought back then that Facebook was like a little dating app type of thing. But it turned out to be something super, super serious. And it's something that we played around with back then. And I think if we had known that YouTube was gonna take off like it did, we probably would have stuck with it a little bit more and did it things on the side and stuff like that. But yeah, man, what's cool about all of that is we were able to get that training, that old school training, because we had that old school mentality of getting things done, the hard work, the stuff that younger people don't quite understand. Like, even like getting cameras and getting lights is like so easy now. But back then, you had to go to the library, you had to find somebody to check it out with. And people weren't trying to share information. How are you feeling like you're out there in Los Angeles, you're doing your thing as a host, you've done your thing on radio, you've transitioned into doing kind of like a television, online and things like that. What was it like to kind of transition and actually get people to start taking you seriously from a person who was doing it as a hobby?
You know what, man? The transition part wasn't too hard, man, because radio and basically what I do now, I'm an entertainment correspondent. So, I freelance for different outlets, and they'll send me out to different press junkets different red carpet events. And, I just do what I do. When I was in radio, I was already actually doing some red carpets already, but just not on this magnitude, man. So it's actually like brother and sister, man. It's crazy because the things that I'm doing now, I had no idea I would be doing. Even the people that I talk to, people ask me all the time, man, like, who have I interviewed? And I always forget I have to go back to my IG page because I've talked to so many people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so humbled by it, bro. You know what I'm saying? And
you've been doing this. You were interviewing celebrities and stars, man, almost 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's
like maybe even more than that.
BK, bro.
I mean, it's been almost 18 years.
I was in radio for 10 years, bro. I was in radio 5 years in Columbus, and then I came out here. I worked for CBS Radio out here for 5 years, man. So, like I said, I've been doing it for a while, man. And I my transition, it just happened. I think it was time to happen. I had a love for radio, but now I'm doing this, man. I have a better love for basically being an entertainment correspondent, man. So, I'm really just humbled, bro. Like if I remember the day I told you, BK, I was like, man, I think I'm going to LA, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And I just I never forget that day when I told you, and the day that I drove off and I left, and man, I'm just so grateful that I made that decision, bro. Because that was 6 years ago, and it put me in a great situation, So, and it's crazy. Today on my Instagram page, I put a post up on my Instagram page saying that like this year, man, I'm challenging myself to do things that I'm scared of doing. I'm just gonna go all out there, and. I always been like that, man. If it scares me, man, I go out and do it just because, And
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because we're now in a world where you can make money doing everything. Because when you talk about fear, that's what you're really talking about. The fear comes from the ability to feed your soul, but then also feed your body.
Right.
Feeding your body meaning getting them groceries. Paying the gas bills, electric bills, what have you, paying the rent. The fear of not being able to provide for yourself and not knowing where the next job is coming from. And you spoke to that. You kind of have done some freelance correspondence. What has it been like as far as transitioning from having that normal 9 to 5, even though you never really had a normal 9 to 5, like you've been in radio.
Yep.
So, but what has it been like to go from this being tied to this brick and mortar place to now really kind of having to go for it on your own, or you don't get to go to those events?
You know what? I feel, to me, to be honest, I feel like it's the same as I was in radio, man, because you have to, in this industry, man, you got to bust your ass, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to really submit your credentials to these different, companies and try to, to get placement on the carpet. If I'm not freelancing, I submit my own credentials. It's very. I was just talking to someone last night and telling her she was 23 and just graduated, and she was. Everybody always hit me up on Instagram, man. Everybody always hit me on Instagram asking for advice on how did I get into this and things, and I just try to help as many people as I can. But I was telling her, it's so easy now. All you have to do is create your name.com, TV or whatever, and get your little nice Wix website and start submitting to these award shows. And when people, because all they do, they look at you, they just want to look to see if you're official,
Bro, hey, let's talk about that. Because you're onto something. Okay, so official, because you as you know, I started off more of a behind the scenes guy. Yep. I've always been more of a director producer type of dude.
Right.
I did dabble in being in front of the screen because I did have like a YouTube channel at one point, but then I realized the money was more being, at least for my skill set, was being behind closed doors.
Right.
Now realizing that we're now in a place where you have to put yourself on. You're now in a place where I'm now in a place right now where I've just decided myself, while I've worked in production for over 18 years as a cameraman, a grip, as a DJ, as an audio technician, moving into being more of an audio visual multimedia professional, director, producer, then moved into being more of the guy who cuts the checks and everything.
Right.
And to get to a place where you're making a lot of money, but you're realizing you working for somebody else.
Right.
So I realized I got to cut those ties. I got to be less concerned about making a check. I paid my 10,000 hours. I paid my dues.
It's just it's not rewarding, bro. You know what I'm saying? We spend all this time working for somebody else's dream, and we have our own dreams, and we put our stuff on the side because we are responsible adults. We have bills to pay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, man, it's not as rewarding as the Playaway podcast. You building the Playaway podcast, me building J Styles TV. It's not the same, bro.
And it's really not that difficult to get started. For example, kind of give people a look behind the door. This is not my first attempt at a podcast. I actually originally had another video podcast called The State of Play. Mm-hmm. Shout out to my co-hosts from that, Michael Robertson, Jay Daniel, and James Turner. We did that all together. And also has, quite a big crew. And the problem with that particular venture is it was too big. It wasn't sustainable. It wasn't something I could just get out of my bed and record and do, because these YouTubers, they killing it. Like Philip DeFranco was the dude who was doing it back when we were starting. Philip DeFranco didn't legitimize himself just by giving himself his own means of productions, get out in the bed in the morning and going straight to work every damn day. Yeah. And, when I did that original venture, I'm not going to speak ill of anyone else, but we were offered an opportunity by another distributor. And the problem with that distributor is their vision wasn't in line with what we wanted and what we were trying to accomplish. So getting the episodes posted and getting them marketed, they wasn't trying to do that for us. And it's very reminiscent. What a lot of people don't realize is what's going on in the music industry is very similar on the acting and the production side as well. Right. So, there's a lot of people. Would you agree with that?
I would. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Yeah, I would.
Yeah. It's a lot of barriers, but really most of the barriers are really in your mind. If you can save your money, maybe you have to have a job for a little while. I'm not going to say that having a job is bad, because I had to put my money aside, $200 here, $200 there, to the point where now I'm sitting literally inside of my investment. I put myself on.
Man, you just said a key point, man. I mean, it's all about, planning. Another young lady I was talking about wanted to get into the same industry. I was telling her, the first step you need to do is buy you a camera. You need to buy you a camera. As soon as you buy you a camera, set money aside for a camera, you buy you a microphone. When you do that, your next paycheck, you buy something else. But every paycheck, you dedicate something and you buy something, you invest. It's all about planning, man. And then you go out, you go out on the street and you start interviewing, and you have like some type of reel that you can show somebody. So, it's just all about.
You're definitely, and you're definitely one of those people who, if you didn't know how to create the production experience, you knew how to find people. So that's how we linked up. Is you were like, okay, I don't know how to video edit yet, but I know a guy who can help me learn. And so you were like, BK, let's get together. And it was like, let's do this together. And you're like, okay. I remember you had a situation where you was trying to get the radio station to do more and more promos, and you had all of the stuff you want to do, and they wasn't giving you an opportunity. They was giving opportunity to other people who still probably there, ain't doing nothing with their career, not to speak ill of people. But, you knew exactly where you were going, and you didn't have no time to wait. So you said, hey, BK, hey, let's put this money together. If you can provide me the equipment, I'll buy the airtime. And let's make our own show. And we had our own show.
Own show, man. We had I mentioned to you this, I think it was last month sometime, man. But I have all the shows on my on my other computer, and I saw the shows, man, and I was just so amazed, man, because
it still holds up.
It still holds up because we created something, man, and it was so rewarding at the time, bro. Because I was like, shit, I never forget. Remember, we always went to clubs. How the clubs played our the clubs played our show during the club. So I never forget.
Yeah.
I never forget when I was in the club. I looked up at the screen. You know what I'm saying? And on the scene was on the TV screen in the club.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling it's so rewarding, man, when you see your vision, when you see what's inside of you, right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? It's an amazing feeling, bro.
Yeah, it's an amazing, rewarding feeling, and it's like a drug, man. You can't like once you have accomplished it. When you're working with people who have not done that before, and they're trying to tell you why they can't do it, you're like, well, actually, we can do it because I've done it like several times over.
Right.
So it's really hard for you to work with people, and so when you have a mind to do it, you got to get out there and do it, and you can't be afraid.
Right.
And that's going back to what we were talking about is what people. These companies use fear.
Right.
They use the fear of, well, do you want to make this paycheck? Do you want this promotion? If you don't have any ambition, we'll give you something to aspire to. And in today's day and age, I use this example all the time. There's a guy right now, one of these days I'm going to have him on my podcast, but his name is Nick, and he has a YouTube channel called Trainer Tips. Mm-hmm. And this dude does nothing but catch Pokemon inside of Pokemon Go all day, and that he makes money doing that.
Wow.
How can I go work a job? And I'm not speaking ill of people who want to go to a job, because some people their life is more their family, and their life is more their leisure time, and so they more so want to consume the stuff rather than create it. But if you're a creator, if you're an artist, it's hard to not create the content when you're out here watching these movies. You can predict what's going to happen at the end. You see people with lots of resources, and they're not doing nearly the amount of production quality that we did before HD was even a thing.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing, man. I don't think average. I guess they're average, or people who just not creative. Like, I'm a creative soul, bro. Like what you said. When I watch TV shows, I'm like, oh man, I can do something similar to this, and maybe even do it better, like a better way. Every time I watch something, it's like, oh shit, they did it like this, I can do it like this. I'm just always thinking, and there's always the people. What stops people from being creative sometimes is they'll watch something like that and they'll be so blown away by it that they're like, I can't do better than that. But you can always do better than that. Always. Like the only difference between people that are up there on that big screen or inside that television or inside that computer is lights and clockwork, and that's it. Lights meaning the money to keep the lights on, and clockwork meaning the time. But in the words of a famous rapper, there's nothing impossible. Mm-hmm. Difficult takes a day, impossible takes a week. So as long as you remove this doubt, this idea that you cannot, and you start to say, yes, I can, there's unlimited possibilities as long as you're willing to work hard for it and you're smart about how you spend your time and your money. Right. That's just real, man. I mean, you just really have to just do it. You just have to, face fear and do it, man. You just got to go ahead and do it. I could not live my life regretful. Like, man, I shoulda, coulda, woulda, did. Like, I refuse to live my life like that, man. I don't know how some people are so afraid that they won't even try. I cannot live my life like that. So you just got to go do it. You got to go do it.
So let's talk about this. So we're two creatives. I got the Play Your Way network, the website that helps you curate your media.
Mm-hmm. The Player Way.
Okay.
Hey man, I like that drop, bro. The play. I like that,
I appreciate it. And then you got J Styles TV, which you've had. That's
years.
One thing. You've had that same brand for over a decade, bro.
For years.
You didn't have that thing since like 2004, 2000, something like that.
Bro, BK, you know what, man? Every time I see somebody that has something TV, I'm like, bro, I had to be the first one to have them J Styles.
Bro, you were so early.
One of the first ones, bro.
Bro, you had it before .tv was even a domain.
Yeah.
So we're two creatives. let's talk about some stuff we see out there. Tell me about some of the stuff you see out there. Let's talk about like a Wild 'N Out, like a Nick Cannon. A lot of people like to front on Nick Cannon and talk about what he can do or can't do, and he's corny. But to me, Nick Cannon is a hero to me.
Hey, bro, Nick Cannon getting it, bro.
Nick
Cannon is getting it, man. I know he signed, like MTV, he signed on like another contract where he gets to create some other shows. And I mean, I would love to be in a position like that to be able to create shows and to host shows. Now he's doing Wild 'N Out. Wild 'N Out is such a genius show concept. Like, that show is such a genius, bro. It's funny.
I'll put it to you like
hilarious,
this.
It's relatable.
Yes. Well, what's crazy is it works. Nick Cannon was on like the All That and the Amanda Show and all that stuff way back in the day. He said, "Why mess with the equation? The formula.
Right.
This is what people like. They're gonna always love sketch comedy, live improv, and he just sticking with the formula." Yeah. Like, what I love is, like, he's gone into Wild 'N Out and gone away from it and then came back to it. When he gets sick of Wild 'N Out, he'll go away from it and he'll bring it right back with a new generation as if it's brand new.
It's good. It's funny. It's entertaining, You got all different types of comedians. You got all different types of comedians up there. And it's...
All right. So let's talk about Wild 'N Out. So here's an example of, and ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between, with all due respect, if you are listening to this and you're like, okay, these guys are moving fast, they're talking a lot of stuff. Let's zero in on one thing. Okay, so if you can't be inspired by the end of this podcast, bro, you might as well give it up. Because if you can't get it, we're about to give you some exclusive right now.
Exclusive. The player way.
So here's what's going on. Okay, so if you look at Wild 'N Out, and you say, okay, that's already been done. I can't do that better than that. Not true. For example, there's a guy right now, we had him on the show recently, Ruben. He's got a show right now that he's working on right now called Got Him. And he's working on kind of like a sketch comedy thing, very similar to J Styles TV on the scene. But instead of having more of like a host thing in between, he's doing sketches in between the music videos. How that's different is you may listen and say, okay, well, that sounds a lot like Chappelle's show. But Chappelle's show only had one musical guest per show if he had them on the show, because sometimes he didn't have guests.
Right.
But imagine if you had nothing but music videos. It's sketch comedy, very similar to Hits on the Street.
Right.
That dates us a little bit, but a lot of people listening to this may not remember Hits on the Street, but that dude was a genius. My point is that there's always going to be room at the table for you if your content is original and it's good. Exactly. It don't even have to be original. As long as you can get away with not getting sued, you got it. But, I mean, think about how many different, Star Search type of shows. Remember when Star Search was like the only show on TV like it? Right. And Apollo was the only show like it. And think about how many shows, they even bring the Apollo back trying to pass it off like it's brand new.
Exactly.
With Steve Harvey.
Exactly, yeah. How many?
My question in all of that is, do you ever look at something, do you ever get, and I'm kind of answering this kind of a loaded question, do you ever get intimidated by the content that's out there and say, there's no room for me?
Nope. No, the only reason I don't get intimidated is because what I have to offer is just different, bro. It doesn't have to be, like, I wouldn't want my concept and my idea to be similar to someone else, even though it's so many ideas out there anyway that's, it could be similar, man. But I want my shit to represent me and be authentic as possible, man. So, no, I don't get intimidated. Not at all, bro. Not at all. Because what I have to offer is something totally different from what you have to offer or somebody else has to offer. So,
well, yeah. And what you're getting at is that what you have to offer is you.
Right.
No one else can offer you.
Exactly.
No one else can be you.
Exactly.
So be the best version of yourself as possible.
Exactly.
And people are always going to gravitate toward what's authentic. You just have to be fearless enough to be yourself. I mean, that's all Honey Boo Boo is.
Yep.
I mean,
Honey, yep.
Was just because they family was just them. They were just themselves. If
you know who else? You know who else is authentic? Cardi B.
Who?
That's why people love. That's why people love Cardi B. I mean, not only can Cardi B rap, she has a good cadence to her rap. She can rap, bro. But the reason she's really winning because she's authentic, bro. A lot of people can relate to her, dog. Like, she tells the truth. Like in one of the lyrics in her song "Bodak Yellow," when she was like, "I just got my bag, got my teeth fixed." Like she being real. She had fucked up teeth. But she said it. She said, "I just got this bag, got my teeth fixed." It ain't cheap.
Right, it ain't cheap.
You know what I'm saying?
Indeed, bro. What I love about it is that's what we're starting to see is that nowadays, to quote the rock band Living Colour, it's about the cult of personality. Because YouTube, I'm the type of dude that I have a subscription to YouTube Red. I would give up my subscription to Netflix before I give up my subscription to YouTube Red. Mm-hmm. Because YouTube Red is all about no commercials, watching YouTube on your television, and it's just constantly on. You have unlimited resources to either education or entertainment or what have you. You know what I'm saying? If you never made a rack of lamb before, go online, watch it, and now you a culinary artist. Yep. This idea that you got to go to school and you got to sit there for 15 years and get umpteenth degrees. No, that was built in a world where everything was inside of books. Yep. And it took weeks and days to get that information. Yep. And there was a lot of room for interpretation because of the words. But now we're in a situation where there's no way to mix it up when you see a video. You either have it together or you don't. So nowadays, you have unlimited resources at your disposal. If you want to be something, you have the ability to be it as long as you have access. Yep. And that's the key is someone like Cardi B, all she needed was access. All she needed was an opportunity. And once she gave herself an opportunity, she took something like Love and Hip Hop that before she came on there, Love and Hip Hop is where you went to die in your career. Exactly. Yeah. Now, Cardi B made it. This is where you put yourself on, man.
But I beg to differ. I say that Love and Hip Hop is still it's a how can I put this?
It's a platform.
It is a platform, but it's a dying. What did you say? A dying what? What did
medium?
you say?
You think it's a dying medium?
It's a dying medium for rappers big time rappers who go on.
It's a place where it used to be a graveyard.
Yeah. So for rappers who were big back in the day to go on the show, it looks bad for them. But for people like Cardi B,
disagree.
Say it again.
I disagree because Stevie J went on there and it rejuvenated his career too. It just depends on how you.
But I guess Stevie J was more of a producer. I mean, he wasn't. But because think about Jim Jones, bro. Jim Jones
it rejuvenated his career too, though a little bit.
I don't think so.
Okay, so let me make an argument there. Okay, so the problem with Jim Jones is Jim Jones really needs to be with his Dipset crew. His ego won't let him realize
that ain't gonna happen. Yeah.
My problem with Jim Jones, I don't have a problem with Jim Jones. I love Jim Jones. I was one of the dudes that bought Pray for Rain. You know what I'm saying? But he's not everybody's cup of tea when it comes to producing the music. See, a lot of people want to sit out here and say that they in the studio and they producing music, but a lot of people ain't really producing. Right. And how you know is the hardest hustlers that you will ever find is YouTube celebrities. You want to talk about somebody who every damn day getting it? Go on YouTube. These people putting in content
every day,
daily,
every day,
and good edited content. You're like, damn, these people doing real editing. But what's cool is they got tools and stuff. So my point is, the reason why Cardi B was able to take something that was more of a graveyard and turn it into a situation is because just like Remy Ma did it too, is she was putting that music out. The problem is a lot of people go on there and they on that bullshit. Bow Wow's one of the people. He just on that show. I mean, Bow Wow had a show about, he went off of the Love and Hip Hop brand and went on to his own brand about growing up hip hop Atlanta. Yeah. And what did the nigga do on every episode? The nigga wild now on every episode. Yeah. He a clown. That's the reason why we clowning him when he out here in the real world, because we know he not really on his bullshit the way he's supposed to be. My point is, any platform you get, if you hustling, a hustler. I saw this on Instagram the other day, and forgive me for coughing so much. Still getting over this bronchitis, but this is good conversation. I saw this it's a meme I saw on Instagram. A broke dude will take, if you give a broke dude $1,000, he'll come back with Jordans, a blunt, and a bag of weed. All right, but if you give a hustler $1,000, he'll bring you back 10 stacks. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? My point is, opportunity is like that. You gotta know how to invest. I was one of those dudes who said forever. I grew up broke. I grew up in poverty, and when we did get an opportunity to come out of poverty a little bit, I seized that opportunity. Mm-hmm. I made sure to surround myself. If I didn't have money for a MacBook, I then went and said, okay, I don't have money for a $1,900 MacBook situation. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the pawn shop. I'm going to get 3 laptops for the price of that.
Right.
And I'm going to take each laptop and I'm going to divide up the work that one laptop would do. Mm-hmm. So now that I'm going independent, I got all the stuff I need. So my point is, it's opportunity is how people use it. I think a lot of people who use the Love and Hip Hop platform, they do what Peter Guns do and just fucking clown.
Yeah, they don't.
They ain't got nothing else. Because they ain't got nothing else going on.
Don't get me wrong. Now, I mean, Love and Hip Hop is a platform for a major come up, but I think that, just for instance, I feel like Jay-Z, one of the biggest rappers of all time. I feel like if Jay-Z, oh yeah. Oh yeah, he's the greatest of all time, and he's the GOAT. But for instance, if Jay-Z, he was on the verge of going to Love and Hip Hop, you'd be like, because it's like a move.
I disagree, bruh. If you found out Jay-Z and Beyonce was going to Love and Hip Hop, bruh, it'd be the new shit.
Well, yeah.
It would blow it up.
Well, yeah,
it would blow it up.
Yeah, if they went on Love and Hip Hop, it'd be a new.
It would be a movie. It would be a movie.
What I'm saying, if Jay-Z didn't drop hits in maybe 5 or 6 years, and then he decides to go on Love and Hip Hop, that would be like that's not a good look for him, because he hasn't had hits in a couple of times. Like
Joel Santana. Santana is exactly like that.
Exactly.
These are dudes who they touring, but they not really bubbling. Like, and that's the other thing too. That's the other misconception too, is you can, just because you're not putting out music, don't mean you're not hot. Don't mean you're not making money. A lot of people out here touring, like Salt and Pepper, man.
Royalty,
a lot of these groups, they still out here making money. Brandy, a lot of these artists, they out here making money off of touring.
Yeah.
The problem is they just not bubbling. But I feel like a lot of those people, once they put themselves on, it's kind of like checking in like to a 9-to-5 job. You don't really know what a person's doing on their 9-to-5, but you know they're making money.
Right.
So
true.
It's just about.
That's real.
So it's just again, it goes back to how you use the platform. That's a good conversation, bro.
It is. It is. I mean, yeah, man. I don't knock nobody that's on Love and Hip Hop, man. But it goes back to how you use it. You can't be on there wild. I mean, if you're gonna be on there wilding out, make sure you put in work behind the scenes too. And Cardi, man, she was. Hey, bro, I remember she was at those radio stations and she was messing with what's the guy from Power 105? Anyway, she was messing with him and he was supposed to be managing her, and she was in that studio.
Gwen Entertainment.
Yeah, she was in that studio, bro. And you know what was funny, bro? I was listening to Cardi B when she was on Love and Hip Hop. I was listening to those songs she was making,
bro,
and I was
she had
like,
Red Bars out.
This is all right, bro. Like, I can't remember what the name of the song, but I was saying this all right. And then when I heard Bodak Yellow, I said, oh, she on, bro.
I'm gonna say the hardest song Cardi B has put out to this day is a song that she never actually put out, kind of like as a single on like the radio or in iTunes. It's called Red Bars. It only went on World Star Hip Hop. You can go online and find it right now. When I saw Red Bars, this was like early. She did not have Bodak Yellow or anything yet. I knew she was gonna be on. This back when she had the red hair. I was like, bro, this chick gonna be on.
But see,
all they gotta do is give her opportunity.
But like I said, Cardi can rap, bro. Like, I mean, she can really rap. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if she writes her own lyrics, man, but she delivers, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if she doesn't write, she delivers, bro. Like, she don't sound like somebody's writing for her. You're like for instance, this is not a shade at Trina, but Trina, for instance, bro, I feel like you could tell somebody writing her lyrics because she don't deliver. Like this shit is
No.
whack, bro. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
it's not, and it's not just. Here's the thing, it's not about. We're gonna use Cardi B and Trina as a comparison for how you have to pop off these days. Okay, you cannot neglect a platform that's gonna put you on.
Right.
And a platform can be something as simple as your physical appearance. Now, I'm a chubby dude. I'm gonna get in the gym. I'm gonna get it better. I'm gonna get it back. But you're one of those dudes who I remember I did headshots for you one time, and you loved the headshots, but you hated how you looked at them. And you were like, man, I should have shaved my face.
Yeah,
and I was like, you look fine, dude. You're like, no, I ain't shaved my face. And you're like, and I also look a little chubby. You always been a slim dude. So like when you said you look chubby, I didn't know what you meant. And then you went into the gym, and I remember like a year later, I looked at you and I was like, bro, I see what it means. Like there's always ways to trim the fat and make sure you're putting on. So physical appearance is a platform. Then you got your talent. So how you spit your lyrics, how you perform your whatever it may be, that's a platform for yourself. Then you have the technology piece. While my physical appearance has not been the best, I do have the talent when it comes to being on screen. And then I definitely, when it comes to behind the scenes, ain't a thing
that's your
behind the
neighborhood,
scenes
bro.
that can't be done. That's it. So like when somebody tell me that they can't put, I can't do no headshots for you. Forget it. I'll headshot myself. Hey, I can't do no lighting for you. I'll do it myself. So my point with it is, let's go to Trina, for example. So Cardi B is the person who, physical appearance-wise, she said, look, stripping is a platform, so I'm a strip. She used stripping to get famous. When's the last time you heard a stripper using stripping? But she used a stripper pole as a platform. I knew she was going to be somebody. Okay, so she had the red bars thing. She then off of her like street mixtapes, she did a tour, but since people wasn't letting her in regular clubs, she did a strip club tour over the summer of 2016, I believe.
Wow.
She did a multi-city tour through strip clubs.
But that's smart though. Why? Because most of the songs they start in the strip club, bro. And then they bubble out.
Yes,
to the
and not
street.
only that, but that's where the producers are.
Right.
The producers, the big wigs, the executives, they had the strip club. She knew what she was doing.
That's where they at. Yeah.
So some dude, he gonna see her. Some white dude who's like some producer somewhere, some executive. He's gonna be like, oh yeah, I saw her off of such and such and such. His wife's like, how you heard about? Oh, don't worry, I heard about her. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. It's like any platform that will put you on is gonna do it. That's the reason why Trina getting on Love and Hip Hop now. Because she realized, being behind closed doors ain't it. I got to get out here. Her physical appearance is dated.
Yeah.
Like her look is old. Like her look is, she still got a body and everything, but
she hasn't
like
had she hasn't had a hit though either in years. Bro.
Because she ain't really putting that music on. Her click. That's the reason why her and Trick Daddy are now trying to get it together.
Yeah.
Because they realize,
I think
put this music out.
I think it's too late though, man. I love Trick Daddy, bro, but I think it's too late for him, man. I think they're so disconnected from the new generation now. People don't even know. Hey, bro, we not that old, man. We 30, 34, 35, but people they don't even know who Trina and Trick Daddy are, bro. They don't they don't know about you don't know. They don't know about you don't know now.
No. And the music is so different now, so you got to really learn to change with the times. That's the reason why people like Eminem and Jay-Z, that's what makes Jay-Z one of the best of all time.
Timeless,
because
bro.
Jay-Z knows how to switch with the times and innovate. Beyonce knows how to innovate.
Yep.
Eminem knows how to innovate.
Yeah.
And let's talk about innovation when it comes to Joe Budden. Joe Budden was one of I give a lot for that dude. Last year, to me, I feel like Joe Budden is the male Cardi B, man, because Joe Budden was somebody with nobody checking for his music, and he was still making music. He made that album, No Love Lost. I bought that album, but a lot of people didn't buy that album.
Mm-hmm.
He got hooked on drugs. He got into the love and hip hop thing, and it was a major L for him. This dude said, you know what, this podcasting thing, ain't nobody really taking it seriously yet. People talk about Joe Rogan podcast, but Joe Budden is on like episode 150 right now.
Yeah.
Dude's been in it early. To put that in perspective, I've been doing this thing almost a year, and we're close to episode 40. That means this dude probably got about close to 3 years on us. That means dude was in podcasting early.
Right.
Then people with Complex and DJ Academics. DJ Academics is this guy who does a lot of technology. Joe Budden don't know nothing about no technology. But he's gotten further with his career than somebody who had all of that technical advice. That's because he learned to change with the times. He learned how to use the platforms. You never know what platform going to put you on, so you can't be too tied to one platform or another.
That's true.
And you got to make sure that you keep it all together because you never know when the music may come back. You may not know when the podcasting may come at. Whatever. That's the reason why the Play Your Way Network, if you're listening right now, the Play Your Way Network helps you create your media.
The Player Way
Podcast. We have a merchandise store. We actually have the Geek Store that opened up earlier this week. You can get actual discounts on Black Panther merchandise. We actually have a YouTube channel that we're doing hot sauce reviews. We got the podcast live version on there. So, and we're even getting into micro news on Instagram right now with the Play Your Way Instagram IG page. You can go to at Play Your Way Network on Instagram. Again, that's at Play Your Way Instagram. And shout out to the Wolf, Ian Townsend, who manages that account.
The Player Way.
Yeah, so plug yourself, man. You've done so much stuff.
I'm loving
talking about so much. Plug yourself.
Hey, man, I'm loving those sound effects, bro.
Hey, bro, what's crazy is what made me get on my bullshit. I was listening to Ebro, man. I was listening to Ebro in the morning because they got a podcast version. Again, they don't just put their radio show out. They put it out in podcast format on iTunes.
You have to.
So I was listening to them. I was listening to them in the Breakfast Club. First and foremost, when you listen to DJ Envy, he not really doing too much when it comes to the DJ stuff. You don't really hear that because they got a different type of show, whereas Ebro and them got a more streamlined, best-in-class radio experience. And I was listening to them, and I'm like, man, this shit they doing I was doing back when I was like 24, 25. Man, I pulled out my old DJ laptop, my CDJs, man, dusted it off. And I said, you know what? I may not be DJing weddings and shows no more, but I can podcast, and I could be the resident DJ, BK, doing my podcast.
The Player Way.
Keeping it exclusive.
Exclusive. The Player Way.
Boy, that's exclusive.
I'm telling you, bro. Anybody try to tell me I can't do my thing?
Bitch, what?
I'm telling you, bro.
Hey, man, how many sound effects you got loaded up, bro, in queue, man?
Bro, I got so many sound effects, man. Like I've just had stuff over the years, man, because what you don't realize is what made me a really good video. I remember when Mike Robertson, shout out to Mike Robertson, when he first
shout out to
me,
Mike, man.
I was a camera operator already, but I wasn't a video editor. But I was a DJ though. And so what was cool is we got into doing video and stuff, and we would get into these arguments because I want my video done a certain way, and I'd be in there trying to tell him what to do. And eventually he got upset with me, and he was like, look, here's the video editing software, you go do it. And I started doing it. I would take music and I would mix in music with anime, and I would make these anime music videos. So I started off with like music videos, but since I ain't had nobody to shoot, I just did like anime music videos. So I got all of these like DJ sound effects and stuff. I just got libraries of them just on hard drives. And so all I got to do is go pull out a hard drive. I still got hard drives from SP Agency back when we had our studio. So when I was making beats and stuff, I still got a lot of that stuff, man. It's crazy, man. I can always do something. You know, got buzzes. Got all of that stuff. Got all that. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
always.
You know what's crazy? Because I got like a stack of sound effects as well. When I left Columbus, one of the DJs, he gave me like this whole stack of just it was actually a hard drive of just sound effects, bro. You know what I'm saying? You never go wrong with sound effects, dog.
Bro, you never know. And as long as you know how to do your stuff, as long as you know how to mix it, you'll never stop your career. You won't never stop.
Well, you just showing off now, BK. You just showing off now, bro.
Well, speaking of showing off, you came on our podcast, dude. We're getting close to an hour. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between. Show your love for Mr. J Styles. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Plug yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on, where we can find you, where we can get information on Mr. J Styles. Bow, bow, bow.
Man, I got a couple of different projects going on, man. I definitely want to talk about this one first because you already know about this, BKE Jack. But it's called Catch and Fade. Basically, it's going to be some barbershop content.
Don't give away too much. Don't give away too
much. That's why I was careful, man. I was careful. You got
to protect that intellectual property. You got to keep it exclusive.
The player way.
Exclusive.
So, my thing this year, man, I want to do a lot of videos, a lot of content live, man, because the reason is because a lot of, you don't really see, we have so much access to do things live, but I'm not seeing a lot of people take advantage of it. I'm seeing a lot of people still.
It's a lot of bullshit quality.
It's a lot of crazy. It's bullshit quality.
Well, let me take it back. I'm not going to say bullshit quality. What I'm going to tell, here's what's going on.
It's bullshit quality.
Well, let's put it in perspective. Let's put it in perspective for a second. A lot of the people that are using it aren't afraid. They're fearless. So one guy we were talking about just the other day was Country Wayne. Country Wayne didn't even start off on Instagram. He started off on Facebook, doing his Facebook Live stuff and everything, and then making his sketches. The man didn't know how to edit, but he knew how to press record and stop and post it. So he kind of made his own content that way, and he just made sure that it was funny, and he just kept hitting you over the head with it. It was like I remember you didn't know who he was, you know what his name was, but you kept seeing the same black dude with these big old eyes.
Yep.
And every time you saw it, it was just hilarious. And so he wasn't worried about how he was going to make money or how it was going to be packaged. He just got it out there. Then you got like Love Dorsey, who she's killing the game right now on a small scale, on the Chitlin circuit, if you will, doing her like live advice and stuff like that. The problem is people like us who really know what we're doing, we afraid to put out quality like that because what might happen. But, we're worried what people are going to think. But then if you think about like this new game show called HQ, I don't know if you've heard of it yet, but there's this new game show on iOS and on Android that you can download from the App Store. And it's an app, and you think it's a game. No, it's an actual TV show. The app only turns on at certain times during the day. It turns on at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And it's a live game show. It's got a theme song. Wow. It's got a lower third. It's got a host. And what happens is the guests on the show are you. Mm. So you yourself... So everybody who has a phone can actually play the game.
Wow.
And you can actually watch it going on live. And yes, there's some problems with it. The quality be messing up sometime, but they're not letting that stop them. They just putting it out there. So the point is you just got to put your content out there. And if someone like you uses YouTube and Facebook Live, you're going to find your audience. Right. So this project that you got brewing, and I'm blessed and honored to be a part of the situation. This Catch a Fade with J Styles, we putting it out there. You can't, if you hearing this, it's been claimed already. You can't claim it. This is like a poor man's copyright. J Styles got this new show, and it's gonna be hot, man. It's gonna be next level. What else you got going on? You got J Styles TV, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the J Styles TV is always there, bro. Basically, I have a list of projects I have working on. So with me, man, I'm trying to separate J Styles TV and like a production company. I have projects that I'm creating under this production company umbrella, man. So yeah, man, just working on these projects, man. Trying to get these projects out this year. I have 3 projects I'm pushing out this year, and hey, man, just still doing my entertainment correspondent hosting and. Actually, too, I will be on the red carpet for the NAACP Image Awards. That's on Monday, Martin Luther King Day. So that's pretty big, man. Anthony
killing the game.
Anthony Anderson is actually hosting the show, so that's gonna be pretty big, man.
This man is doing it. tell you, man, it's just a marvel to look at you, man, and see where you're doing your thing, brother. We at the Play Your Way Network and the Play Your Way Podcast, we would love to have you back when your projects are ready to go and you're ready to start producing and you're doing those press junkies. Don't forget about us. We'd love to have you back on there. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between. Again, this has been Jay Styles on the Deep Dive.
The Player Way.
And you can find Jay Styles on Instagram at Jay Styles TV.
Yeah, Jay Styles. Hold on, BK. Just one more. I know you're trying to close the show out, but I just want to say, man, I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, our friendship, BK, man. You've done a lot for me over the years, bro. We've been together through everything, bro. I remember this one conversation last year, and I was actually feeling low, just down. You know, sometimes, man, things just don't work.
It was in like July.
Yeah, it was like July, and you called me, and you called me out the blue, and you was like, "Hey, man, I don't know why I'm calling you, but something just told me to call you." But you were just giving me some inspirational words, bro. You was telling me that, you know, I was more than a host. I was more than being a radio personality, bro. And you was telling me, you know, a lot of shit that I needed to hear at the time, man, because I was actually I wasn't really feeling like Jay Styles. You know what I'm saying? And hey, man, I just think you're a great friend, bro. You know, and hey, man, I appreciate you, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man. Much success to you, brother. Much success to you, brother. And let's plug your IG. Plug your IG and your Twitter and everything.
IG, everything is Jay Styles TV. Jay Styles TV.
That's what's up, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between, there's nothing else for the good order, so we're going to end this thing right now. And as we always remind you, go on to the Play Your Way Network. That's at playlifeyourway.com, or you can go to playawaypodcast.com. Tons of content out there. We got video game podcasts. In fact, we got a newer podcast that we started picking up as of the beginning of this year, 2018. Shout out to Jonathan Barron, Chris, and Sean over there. Weekly Games Chat. The best podcast in the land. We got the Play Away Podcast, where we help you curate your media.
The Player Way.
And then we got all of our writers as a part of that Play Away network that's killing the game, and one of these days we're going to cash it in. But until then, no matter what actions you decide to take or paths you decide to follow, just make sure you're doing that shit
the Player Way.
And we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Player Way Podcast. Recorded in a single take from Los Angeles, California, Dallas, Texas, and Atlanta, Georgia, by Nathan Peterson, Derek Lewis, and BK Jackson.
And I'm Darren Marlar, the majestic voice of the Player Way Podcast.
Our opening theme is titled Bound by Ricky Remedy, courtesy of Elysian Records. And our closing theme is titled Coconut King Diaries by Xander, spelled Zahnder. You can find this music by both Ricky Remedy and Xander, and many more tracks on SoundCloud. And remember, no matter what choices you make or paths you follow, just make sure you do it
the Player Way.
See you next week.